one more thing I forgot to mention was the center console trim piece. I'm sure I can pull up a picture of the old one here, and you see how it's like the switches on the top here. So these are now, I basically just took the old one, grabbed a Dremel tool, and I cut open anything I didn't need, and just I also used epoxy and Bondo. Made myself a little templates, and then I used little switch inserts themselves to actually, because I'm not that good with epoxy to actually mold the switch holes. But yeah, I got battery voltage monitor over here with the USB ports for charging as well. And then for my Android Auto stuff, I actually hid the USB port back inside here as well with the aux cord as well. So it ends up being kind of nice and hidden. And still gotta wrap this in carbon fiber because this wood just makes me want to puke. And another thing that kind of pissed me off, I was hoping not to have to redo, was this thing right here. This piece right here, it cracked, and the plastic was real like the rubberized finish was real nasty. You could like peel off with your fingernail. It's like goo. Like you can see it over here where it's nice and smooth. And I was peeling, and I went on eBay to try to find this part right here, and it was like $400. So I was like, ugh. So peeled off the grill on top and just also carbon fiber wrapped everything, just match the car. Doesn't look the best, but at least it was like 20 bucks rather than 400. And I guess the HVAC part, I'm redoing it. I still have to program this box over here, which is Arduino coupler relays in there. That one, it's basically the way I have it is because it's stepper motors on the inside that's controlling it. I don't know why they chose to do stepper motors rather than like every other car company that uses just regular DC motors in a timed interval for them, but whatever. So I basically made airflow selector, which I still have to either create a decal for or something. And then the AC switch, which basically this is AC on, off, and then AC with where it takes the fresh air from the passenger footwell. It's a little actuator door. And the fan knob, which is just completely analog. It's just a DC speed controller for the motor. And then the blender door, so like, you know, footwell, face, defrost, stuff like that. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice actually, because these knobs are for ovens, by the way. They were like $2 on Amazon, and I bought them. So, and center console is still kind of a mess of wires, but I got the audio wires running over here. You can see they're running back because I'm planning to mount a little powered sub in the trunk. And then I have the amplifier for this door speakers under the footwell over there. But yeah, this thing's coming together. I also ordered a door recently, the rear door, because it's a little bit rotted out. Over here you can see it's just all Bondo. There's not really any steel over here, so, and like stuff like this over here as well. You can see it's just focus on it. But yeah, you can see that's just rotted out. I guess here's all the carpets. I washed them out as best as I could. Fortunately, rust doesn't really come out that well, but all these carpets are washed, ready to go. And yeah, still got to pull all the glass out for, well, I'll do that once I'm ready to paint, but I'll have to pull out this glass and all door cards and motors and door locks, everything off, so put it on a new door. It's gonna be a nice cherry color. Another piece I wanted to shoot an update on was the interiors coming together. You can see I'm about ready to install the floor pan, or the dash pan, I guess. I don't know what the hell you call it, but just so it hides all the wiring. Got the carpets all washed out, and then I bought like 90s S-Class seat controls, which are actual physical switches and not just little resistors, which they used to be, controls used to be right over here. I just put some epoxy in the holes and I bonded it over, and I just put a little carbon fiber wrap, as you can see everywhere here, and installed the radio with CarPlay and Android Auto. And I installed these switches. These switches I'm still gonna have to, because right now they're just stickers. I'm gonna have to just basically pull these off, take it to a laser engraving shop, and just engrave the actual words or symbols or whatever on it. Also redid the roof panel over here. I added also from a 90s, was it E-Class, I believe, power moonroof switch, which is also mechanical switch, which, by the way, did not work, because they changed the motor in the back over here, so this just ends up being a switch for the relays inside there, which is kind of dumb. But so I don't have limit switches or anything, so I just gotta sort of, like my power windows, where I just gotta stop and not let them burn out the gear motor. Also, I finished my dash cluster. I'm not sure if I'm gonna add more stuff to it, which won't be that hard, but I got the fuel gauge working with a fuel level sensor like adapter, so it just takes the resistance of the Mercedes tanks, converts it to the resistance of like almost every other fuel sender. And then I just took my old phone and I put a little 2 magnet strips on here, which I ended up not putting 2 magnets on the back because one was just strong enough. And then I grabbed a USB 90-degree adapter, and if it would focus, that would be even better. And now I just bought OBD Dash app for the phone, and OBD adapter itself. And now I can just set up my gauge cluster to be whatever I want it. And I got turn signals in here, check engine light and high beams, which when you're sitting over here, you kind of don't see any of it. So
a little later.
So I thought I'd shoot a little video on the interior. Right now it kind of looks like a mess, but I got these wires mostly tucked away because this just needs like a zip tie and I'll hide, and then I can just put the pan over there on there. And the HVAC is finally finished. Still gotta redo the labels just a little bit better, but overall, you know, I got the AC compressor working, fans blowing the way they should. Cluster is also finished, just needs a little change on the actual fuel meter. Needs to be calibrated properly because it's reading 100 after I've driven like 20 miles on it, which I guess is nice, but it's not right. I got the seats out just to get the carpet back in. Need to get like all the these kind of plugs for the seat power. But yeah, so everything runs on it. I got high beams, blinkers, stuff like that done. Moonroof works, so I just have it open for light. And gotta throw the center console on here, clean this up a little bit, and I think we'll be ready to go. I want to shoot just to show you serviceability options. Because initially when I went to dyno this thing, I didn't put the compressor in because it was in the middle of winter. I didn't want salt or dirt or any crap getting inside the AC compressor. So the AC compressor wasn't installed, obviously, and the firewall ports were just plugged up with pieces of rubber. But now I had to install the AC compressor, so I had to take the whole front end apart again. And honestly, it's surprisingly serviceable because it was what? So 10 bolts here, like 6 more bolts over here, and then oil coolers, like also like 3 bolts, and the air box and the intake, which is like 3 bolts and 2 hose clamps. I just lifted the radiator out, so you can see it's a little bit kinky. By the way, here's my little job of 4 adapters. This port right here is super big, and this one's relatively small. I'm guessing this is meant for like the 350 Chevy 350, like the old Chevy motors, the carbureted ones. So, and as far as I remember, it was the anyway. Besides the point, this nozzle was bigger on the old engines. But yeah, I was able to actually get the AC compressor in and out. I still got to bolt it up, but that's not that big of an issue of actually getting it in. Unfortunately, I couldn't reach around from below, try to grab it, but there's just not enough room. The only way would be to like move the fender, which is actually probably a lot more work than just moving all of this. But yeah, it's actually serviceable, funny enough. Yeah, I'm working on the AC system right now. I got all the components here. I'll just have to do a little bit of soldering and get the original box. So this one's gonna get chopped off at some point over here. I'm gonna install a new dryer because this is like a 20-year-old dryer now, so it's probably not doing that much, and get my AC switch on, which is this one. I was just seeing if this would fit, but anyway, yeah, I'm just as surprised as you are that I actually can change stuff out, because I believe the alternator is about the same to change out. I'll have to probably pry over the radiator, and a power steering pump I can do any day because it's right here on the top. And yeah, that's pretty great. I'm pretty happy with this. And the exhaust manifold didn't crack yet. It's been about 300-400 miles on this car, with about 10 or 12 so starts and stops, cool downs, and heat ups. And it was in the winter too, so hopefully thermal shock in the winter, if it can take the thermal shock in the winter, it can take thermal shock in the summer.